Hi, welcome to part 2 of the tutorial on how to use MegaEd X. I actually just made a video, but I screwed up, so I just decided to do it again. Plus, it all wasn't fresh in my brain, so I was kind of slow when I talking through the program. First, I want to start off showing this bug in Rockman and Ford, or Mega Man is base, as they say, the English translation, because it was only released in Japan and Europe. So as you can see, it loads the layout and the level fine, but none of the enemy graphics are showing up. This is actually how it was in the original Mega Man X editor, until Red Guy came in and he added the event editor, and then it would display a lot of the graphics. So it's not even showing up the palette loading event. I tried editing the program so it would do everything correctly, but it's really complicated. It still picks up enemy information, it just doesn't display the graphics. So type 6, that means like enemy in Rockman and Ford. It's type 3 in the other games. Actually, Mega Man X, X2, and X3 are very similar in code, but I think that they did Rockman and Ford like from scratch, or it's like based off Mega Man 7 or something. So it's got like, you know, X position, Y position, and like the event. It's just not showing the graphics. You can, you know, edit the stuff. You just can't see the graphics. And I went in, I tried to edit the program and insert the right, you know, like addresses and stuff, but it's a lot more complicated than it looks on the surface. It's actually really difficult. So for today's tutorial, I was going to focus on two things. An enemy swap. I was going to swap in Hoganmer on the first level, and then I was going to do a boss swap. But first, I just want to show you some basic information about the event editor. So basically, for the event editor, they don't really give you any extra space to work with. The ROM is entirely full, and there's 0 bytes you can add. So you can't go in there and, like, you know, add a bunch of enemies. It's just going to crash the game. So right here is picking up Scrambler. As you can see right here, it says remaining byte count in the event editor window. It's 0 bytes. It means the ROM is full. You can't add anything to it. The reason I'm opening Mega Man X2 is I'm going to expand the ROM, and there's a bug in Mega Man X where it won't do that. So now you go down to the dude or whatever, or anything really. It's going to show you there's about a megabyte of free space. You can go add a bunch of stuff now. There's a bunch of free space in the game. So that's that. But still, with Mega Man X2, you want to add some stuff in there. You got to delete some stuff. So we're going to delete Spiky and then throw in Hoganmer. Hoganmer is from a different stage. He's from Sting Chameleon, and I think he's in another stage too. So basically what you do is you just go over here. If you didn't know all the information about Hoganmer, and you click on him here, whatever, write down all the information. I have all that recorded though, so I don't need to do that. Actually, before I jump into this, I just wanted to say that I was going to go over some basic ROM hacking information. I was going to show you guys how to, I guess I could do that real quick too at the end. I'll just show you guys like what the game looks like in a hex editor. You can see all the text in the game that way, and then I'll open it up the game in an assembler. Or actually, that's copyrighted code. I don't know. The video might be taken down if I do that. I can just show you the program. I won't load the ROM. I'll just show you the program. And that stuff. But that's kind of over the scope of the program. I just wanted to show you guys how to do some simple stuff. So basically, the assembler, what that does though is, so the hexadecimal, that means all the information is in bytes. Like, you know, binary program is your compiler. It breaks everything down into 0s and 1s, and that's what binary is. It's inexecutable. 1 and 0 is 1 and 0 is 0. 1 and 0 is 1 and 0 is 0. 0 and 1 is 0 and 1 is 0. 1 and 0 is 0 and 1 is 0. 1 and 0 is 0 and 1 is 0. 1 and 0 is 0 and 1 is 0. 1 and 0 is 0 and 1 is 0. 1 and 0 is 0 and 1 is 0. 1 and 0 is 0 and 1 is 0. 1 and 0 is 0 and 1 is 0. 1 and 0 is 0 and 1 is 0. 1 and 0 is 0 and 1 is 0. 1 and 0 is 0 and 1 is 0. 1 and 0 is 0 and 1 is 0. 1 and 0 is 0 and 1 is 0. 1 and 0 is 0 and 1 is 0. 1 and 0 is 0 and 1 is 0. 1 and 0 is 0 and 1 is 0. 1 and 0 is 0 and 1 is 0 And so at hex, it just breaks everything down to 16 bytes instead of 2 bytes. I don't know if it's a byte or whatever, but so it breaks everything down to let's just say 16 digits or whatever. So 0 to, I think it's 0 to F, yeah. And then what an assembler does is it just translates that hex into opcodes. So it's, for Super Nintendo, it uses 6502 assembly. So you'd have to learn that. There's a lot of different assembly languages. And actually, if you didn't know this, an assembler is a lot different for other systems. So like Atari Jaguar, or I can't think of any other systems off the top of my head other than Sega Genesis. But like I know a Sega Genesis assembler is hard to find. And you can click on stuff using a mouse. You don't have to use the buttons right here. Just not clicking. There it goes. Okay, so I already have this written down. I guess you guys can take a look. But so basically, the graphics number is 0. Graphics ID is 1. Palette offset is 4. So this is Hogamer. Doesn't look like Hogamer right here though. It's funny. Oh, the graphics ID is 0. And the event ID is 1. That's what was 1. And his palette's all screwed up. So basically, to use the emulator in game, like they added this feature, you can it pulls the ROM from memory. So if you make any changes in the level editor, you need to go in and then save your ROM before you see those changes updated in the emulator. If I run it now, it's going to be really buggy. So right now everything is in temporary memory, and if we save it, it's in permanent memory. And then, so the emulator, it loads the game in permanent memory. It's not going to load any your temporary changes. Also, one thing to note is that when you change levels, change stages, all your changes are discarded. And I was going to add like an error checker, that gives you a warning and says, hey, you want to leave without changing and stuff, but that's for future updates. So I'll show you an example of that, like right here, change level, go back, spiky again. But actually it's all still stored in the palette loading event, so I don't really need to do all that. I just need to change spiky again. And since we changed that palette editor, now it's loading up the correct palette because it's in temporary memory now. This is actually going to throw a small bug, but I want you guys to see this so that you understand a little bit more about VRAM, video RAM, because it's a little bit complicated. So I'm going to make some changes. Now it's in permanent memory. It's got some sound, but it runs in the background. I'm not going to be able to take it out, so. Sorry, I don't know if you guys could hear me yelling. I think the screen grabber it keeps the sound in the background sound in the video, even if I disable the sound in my computer. So basically what happened is that for Hogan Mario was picking up some graphics from Gunvolt, and it was loading his graphics instead of just Hogamer's. And I'll show you why it's doing that right now. It's doing that because we took out Spiky and then threw in Hogamer over him. And Hogamer, his sprite is a little bit bigger than Spiky's, so you need to like adjust for that space difference in the program. So that means, so instead of Gunvolt starting at 1600 in memory, we're going to change it to 1650. I've already tested this, so I already know the values, but you probably have to do a lot of trial and error if you go in and change a lot of enemies. And then I'll run the emulator, and you'll see that there won't be any problems with the Hogamer sprite. I don't think you'll be able to hear me, but you'll be able to see it. So as you can see, Hogamer was actually showing up fine in that version. There wasn't any buggy stuff. So one more thing I was going to show you guys was the boss swap. I'm going to swap out Chill Penguin and Hogamer. So there was one small bug when I swapped out, when I put Chill Penguin in Boomer Kawanger's stage. I got everything to run fine, except there was one problem with the palette for the blizzard. Like he'll cause a blizzard in the stage, and there's supposed to be white snow, but the snow was showing up yellow for some reason, and I couldn't really fix it. I had problems. At first, I had problems with the ice cubes. Like he'll shoot ice cubes at you, and I was able to fix those graphics by just swapping around the palette loading event. There's like you just go into graphics number like 2 or something, and then you just add in the info from Chill Penguin in Boomer Kawanger stage. But it doesn't fix that palette. I don't know why it does that. There's a program, it's a really popular program called MegaEd X Randomizer. So they're probably really good at fixing all that memory stuff and palette stuff. Yeah, so for the randomizer, obviously, I think it swaps out enemies, and it's changed like item locations and bosses. I don't know if it does the enemies, or if it's just the item locations and bosses, but they'd be able to fix the memory real good. Chill Penguin is typically the first stage in the game that you're supposed to play, so you can get those leg parts. But here in the emulator, it's like one of almost the last stages. So right here, it's the scroll bar's to the very end, but the level is not all the way to the end. So you just either push the arrow or just use your arrow keys on your computer, and then you can just scroll all the way to the end of the level. You can see all the layout and the graphics and stuff. I was able to swap in Boomer Kawanger fine. He shows up good on Chill Penguin stage. It's just the other way around where I had some problems, just that, that palette stuff. So you're going to want to go up here to the palette loading event. Instead of loading Chill Penguin, we're going to load Boomer Kawanger. I don't think you need to go in and add his boomerang stuff. I think that's just part of the graphics. But like right for here, he's got, these are his ice cubes. So if you go in Boomer Kawanger, you need to edit that. You need to add that in there. Or any of the other bosses. You swap with any of the bosses. But I already know what his values are, so I just did this. Just made a mistake, but I'll just make sure. So 69, 13C, 5, and 128. Then you save it, and his palette's gonna be correct now. So this is what he looks like, obviously, and that's pretty much it. So I hope with this small tutorial you guys will be able to know this program a little bit better. There's a pretty good program. One of the best ROM hacks I think for Mega Man X is Mega Man X hard type. There isn't too many ROM hacks for Mega Man X. There's a lot for, you know, Super Metroid, Castlevania, Super Mario and stuff, and, you know, Zelda, but there's not too many for Mega Man X. So I was kind of hoping that with this program people would be more open to hacking this game, but I don't know. It's a little bit complicated, so I guess we'll just have to wait and see. I'll post a link for Mega Man X hard type in the video, the YouTube video. I guess I better load those other programs. So Mega Man, so Hex D and stuff. So let's see. Well, Hex D is in my computer. I can show you guys. This is ASM Dev. This will load it like a ROM, and then it'll just show like the assembly. So this is all a bunch of junk. I'm not gonna load it because I don't know, it could be like considered copyrighted or something. There's also a hex editor, and it just shows those values, you know, A to F. It's got all the and with a hex editor you can change the text. With a level editor you can't change the text. With a hex editor you can. Alright, so thanks for taking a look at my video, and good luck on your journey. Have a good day.